Today's topic is why do we need a constitution? Now, you can see on your screen these are 5 reasons for which we need a constitution in any country. Constitution is not only a maze of rules and regulations, but it has a definite function to perform. And today's class is about learning and understanding those functions of the constitution. So the first function of constitution is coordination and assurance. We all are living in society, and every society is a heterogeneous group which have people of different views, of different opinion. And as people have different opinion, it might lead to conflicts also. But at the same time, since we are living in a society, we need to live together also in harmony. So in order to live together in harmony, it was we should have some common basic rules which we all agree to follow, and those basic rules would help us in leading a coordinated lives. We would be able to understand what is expected of me as a citizen of the society and the country, and what is expected of you as a citizen or a member of the society. And those basic rules, it's not only telling us what we are supposed to do, it also tells us that if you are not able to do what you're supposed to do, then you can be punished also. Now, this punishment, or legally when these basic rules are enforceable, this gives us assurance that if I am obeying the basic rules, I am safe. If the other person is not obeying the basic rules, it means that he can be punished. So this punishment assures me that everyone is supposed to follow those basic rules, which is required for coordination, and punishment for not following those basic rules gives assurance to each one of us that we will stay protected and we are not supposed to break the rules. Limitations on the powers of the government. Just as the Constitution gives the power to take decisions, similarly, Parliament also tells us that which laws can be just or unjust, can be fair or unfair. So it is Parliament which has to decide that whether it has to make just laws or it has to make unjust laws. So the Constitution tells us that if a law has been made, and if that law is violating the fundamental rights of the students or of the citizens, then that law will not be acceptable. So, in a way, Constitution limits the powers of the government also. Aspirations and goals of the society. Every society is unique. Every society has its uniqueness in the sense that the kind of society it has. For example, caste discrimination, it is very unique in India. Racism in South Africa at one point of time, that was something which was very prominently practiced in South Africa, which is also called as apartheid. Now, Constitution also has the responsibility to ensure that in case if certain things are not happening in the right way in the society, then it is the onus is on the Constitution and the founding fathers to take positive measures to overcome those social evils. Those positive measures are also called as enabling provisions, and you will generally find these enabling provisions in every constitution of the country, in every constitution of every country. Like in our example, fundamental rights and directive principles, these are the enabling provisions which help our society to remove the social evils. Constitution also gives us our identity. We all have agreed to abide by the Constitution of India, prepared by our founding fathers. We all have agreed to abide by the principles, basic rules that are written in the Constitution. So, we are bound by the political ideals as mentioned in our Constitution. This gives us the political identity. Moral identity means that every provision of the Constitution has an inherent moral value attached to it. There is an inherent uh, philosophy attached to it. For example, if I ask you that what is the purpose, what is the inherent moral value behind the provision of giving equal freedom of speech and expression? The answer is freedom. If I ask you the moral value behind abolishing of untouchability, answer will be equality. Likewise, in every provision of the Constitution, especially with that regard to fundamental rights, you will always find an inherent value, a moral value attached to it, which it is trying to achieve. That gives us the moral identity to the Constitution. National identity means every country is having different rules of granting citizenship. In our country, if a child, if a person is born, then a person is granted the citizenship of India. If a person is living in India for the past 15 years, he or she becomes the citizen of India on definitely if he or she applies. Likewise, every country has its own rules of granting citizenship. Therefore, this gives us the national identity because we need to understand that we as an individual have no existence in the sense when we leave our country. If I go outside my country, I will be known by the nationality of myself. I will be known as an Indian first and then with my name and then with my gender. So this is the meaning of national identity.